All right.
And we're on.
Did you hear that sound?
Man, what a good sound. Good morning, everyone. And a very happy Flex Friday.
Happy Friday. That's too hot for me to keep
That
slurping.
was a really happy Flex Friday. We got a good pump on today.
I have a
Can you
hoodie
tell?
on. Can you tell? All right. So today's topic, I'm going to tell you what today's topic is about before we just lose too many people who are watching the recording saying, what are these girls even doing? Today, we're talking about finding joy in the journey. We're talking about
handling discouragement.
And if you are watching the recording, we do these live in our Savage Sisters community that we post them on YouTube. I'm Erin.
And I'm Sarit. S-A-R-I-T.
S-A-R-I-T. Get it right. And we do these every Friday. It's Fun Friday, Flex Friday, and it's just another topic to help more women who are wanting to have high standards for themselves, get in great shape, feel good about themselves, lose the body fat, gain the muscle, gain the strength, be empowered, and spend time around other women who are doing the same thing. So that's what we do here. So I will have a question for you. My question is,
how is it already December?
That's a good question. Not even just December, the 5th. It's already 5 days into December. My question for you is,
I'm here.
Yeah. We have to bring the dog.
Yeah. Oh, sorry. Wow.
Wow. Are you drunk? So my question for you is, how do I want to ask this question?
I know.
How do you know?
How do you like this?
What?
That decoration thing that has
Stop. You're just sit in front of it. Just put your head right there. Okay. When you're discouraged.
Yep.
We're going to start on this topic because, and I'll give you an example of like a common discouragement that we hear of from our clients, from our community, is either they didn't follow through with something they said they were going to do, like eating clean in a certain way, or a specific type of movement target that they created or something like that. And they fell short, or they gave into a temptation at a, potluck meal or something like that. And then feeling discouraged. What are the options that you can think of in that moment that you have to choose from when you're feeling discouraged? The good, the bad, the ugly.
That I allow myself?
No. Like, I'm discouraged. Okay, what can I do now? Oh, there's like several paths.
Okay.
There's several different choices you can make in that moment.
Yeah.
What are those choices that you can think of?
Yeah. Okay.
Good, bad, or ugly.
Real quick before I answer this question, for those of you guys who are with us live, I'd love to know from you, when was the last time you felt discouraged and why were you discouraged? Okay.
When was the last time you felt discouraged?
And why were you discouraged?
What was it?
Yeah. Okay. So basically what you're asking me is, how would you coach yourself when you're being discouraged?
No, I'm not asking you that. I'm asking you, if you're at a fork in the road?
Yeah.
The discouragement fork. And there are several different pathways you could take in that moment. You have a choice in that moment, right?
Yeah.
What are each of the pathways? Whether or not they serve you doesn't matter. What are all of the options?
Well, big picture, the options are keep going, pause, quit. So you can go forward, you can go to the left, or you can go to the other lane.
But what does that look like?
What do each of them look like?
Yeah. Okay. So, I mean, here's how I think about it. You can either quit, which is what you said. One of the things you said, you can quit and just give up,
Quitting is the ultimate form of failure.
and then you definitely don't get what you want.
Yeah.
So there's that, which some people do temporarily.
Most people do.
Most people do that at least temporarily. Or maybe that would be what you define as pause. Pause, like you just kind of stop doing stuff, but
yeah. So
what do you mean?
I'm giving you a worldview of what I see people do, not how I would walk through it.
But what does pause mean?
Pause mean not take any action or take a different kind of action.
So would that be quit? Okay, one path, quit. You stop doing. Example, I'm going to the gym. I don't get the results that I want fast enough, so I quit. That's one option. I'm going to the gym. I'm not getting the results fast enough, so I pause, meaning I stop what I'm doing for a little while, and then I start doing it again. Until, I stop doing it until I'm sick of myself. Then I start doing it again. The third one is just keep putting in the work, keep putting in the reps, keep going to the gym. Eventually you'll see results. Those are like the three paths you can take.
Yeah. So are we on the same page? Because those were
perhaps. I think I'm just defining them further.
You just asked me a question. I think you want to guide me in a certain way, but you didn't give me clear instructions, so I'm just blurting it out.
Okay, great.
So you're right. Okay, so how do you...
I figured you were going to say those. I just wanted them to be more defined as examples for people to understand in the real world scenario, like in their real life scenario.
Yeah, so hold on. Let's read what you guys said. When was the last time you felt discouraged and what happened? Okay. Oh, you guys are coming in hot. So yeah, I fell down peak at week 7 and had to start over. That was hard. Yep, sure was. And I remember I gave you coaching on that. I ate a muffin yesterday, even though I knew I shouldn't. It didn't even taste that great. And then afterwards, mentally felt like crap. So I told myself to not do that again. It wasn't worth the experience. I paused, took one task at a time, and spent some time. Yeah, but what did you, Sherlyn, when was the last time that you...
Tuesday.
Oh, Tuesday. Okay, why were you discouraged though? She did not describe that. I'd love to know that. Took one task at a time and spent some time with my great niece, recentered myself, and then plugged away at my targets and got my one for the day. Okay, so here's the deal. First of all, I'm going to begin by telling you that in anything in life, you're going to be discouraged. You're going to be discouraged in your relationships. Sometimes you're going to be discouraged in your marriage. Sometimes you're going to be discouraged in, like whatever, like your career. You're going to be discouraged no matter what. Why? Because as humans, we have a tendency to create a certain expectation based on our point of view, and we expect things to go our way. When the reality is that life doesn't go this way. Right? So you're going to be discouraged no matter what. Now, here's something else. When you are on your journey of the pursuit of your greatness, right? You're here to just tap into a new lifestyle, a new way of being, where your quality of life is increased, where how you look and how you feel is improved, and how you perform is improved, and all of that. You are on a journey of going against the grain. I hope you understand that, right? Because most people live life drifting their way through, becoming worse and worse. And we can see that. Numbers don't lie, right? Like if you look at most people, when they age, they become worse. They become fatter. They become sicker. They become more depressed.
Okay, I want to emphasize this.
Okay.
And give proof. You say most people.
Yeah.
And that is also why people will socially accept phrases like, well, that's just what happens when you get older.
Yeah.
Or when you get older, your metabolism slows down, or when you get older, this hurts and that hurts. It doesn't, we don't have to accept that that is a reality. We can understand, sure, that things don't work the same way that they did, but that doesn't mean we're doomed. That doesn't mean, oh, just because we start getting older, we're now incapable of things.
Yeah. Well, the problem is that drifting has been accepted as a social norm because that's where most people are are facing, right? And what is most familiar is what we're more likely to accept. It's just, like regular psychology and human nature. But I mean, if you think about it this way, if you were to go back to the Bible, Moses was literally 120 years old when he was leading like 500,000 Israelites from Egypt all the way to Israel, who were ignorant, who were always angry with him, who always rebelled against him. And it was physically grueling, it was emotionally grueling, it was spiritually grueling. And he was healthy until his last day, and he passed.
All these old farts.
Right? Like, I did not make up this story. Go to the Bible, right? So I say that because we're talking about literally like 4,000 years ago, where we do not have the technology that we have today, where we do not, like just have all of the benefits that we have today. I hope you realize that regardless of what you're currently going through in life, your lifestyle is better than that of like a pharaoh's, like thousands of years ago. In a click of a button, you can get food.
Well, hold on. That's a double-edged sword. Yes, there's benefits to technology, but it's also being utilized in a way that makes people worse and sicker and fatter and lazier and unhealthy.
Sure,
numb.
Unless there is intentionality. But all I'm saying is that we're very privileged to live in today's day and age. You know what I mean? You do not have to go to the farm to sow the grains and wait an entire year to then, press them, turn them into, like bread or whatever you're going to cook. You can literally click on a button and like
shows up on your doorstep an hour
and whether you eat like shit or whether you eat clean, it could either be your Costco order or your Chipotle order or your shit food order. It doesn't matter.
Chick-fil-A.
Yeah.
Mac and D's.
Anyhow, make that sound again. All right. So anyways, the human body is resilient to the degree that our mind is resilient. You know what I mean? And back in the day, it has been like there was literally no other way to get through life other than being resilient. It's like the most disciplined people, the most resilient people were healthier, were able to persevere through harder times, planned better during good times for harder times. And when a catastrophe happened, whoever was prepared and whoever, was just putting in the work, like were able to survive, and everyone else like basically fell by the wayside.
Would you say that that's not still true today?
Of course it is. I mean, it's Darwinism, right? Like, you guys, technology cannot disobey evolution. It's just like we cannot it doesn't matter how advanced we
get. It just looks different today than it did then.
Yeah, like it doesn't matter how advanced we get. We cannot ignore laws of nature. Like, I don't care, even if it's 10 years from now, like you climb up. No,
you can't see your beautiful eyes.
You climb up. You climb up a roof and, like you jump down, you're going to experience gravity. I mean, shit, this is why lifting weight is hard, because like you're pressing through, or you're pulling your way through gravity. But anyways, anyways, all that to say, our bodies are resilient to the degree that our minds are resilient, right? And
Like your body will do as much as your mind believes it can.
yeah, and being sick, and like we've seen it literally, like not just centuries. How do you call like um a, like a time
More
frame of a thousand years? Centuries, 100,
10 centuries.
10 centuries, whatever. So if one of you guys know what it is, just go ahead and drop it in the chat. Would love to know. But anyways, so
Hold on.
we
What's the term for 1,000 years? A millennium.
oh duh.
Durr.
Well, I mean, it really came one time in our lifetime. So
The word comes from the Latin mile, 1,000, and ennium, year.
1,000 years.
Millennium.
All right. So anyhow,
Wait, is that 10 years?
no, millennium is 1,000 years. Remember, it was the
1,000 years.
millennium in 2000.
Yes.
Anyhow, so
Century is 100, decades 10. Yeah,
yeah, okay. So
we're so smart.
all that to say, it is evolutionarily possible to be in our 60s and in our 70s and like fit AF
There's proof all over.
in
Go to Google.
in great freaking shape, like performing like an absolute master. Now, you want to be fit AF in your 70s, for one, you're not going to start at 68. Like,
yeah, for one, start
like
yesterday.
Yeah, like this work takes literally decades. You know what I mean? So the sooner you start, the better advantage you have. That's just the reality of it. The point of the game is to stay in the game.
But also, I don't want anybody to get discouraged and be like, oh, wow, like I'm already 50. Good, start now.
Yeah.
Who cares? Like you're better off starting now and working at it for the rest of your life than you are
starting at 70.
Being like, oh, well, there's no use. And then deciding at 70, like you can't stand up out of a chair by yourself.
Yeah. Mel just said that's going to be me. Of course it's going to be you. Can't wait. Like I'm watching it every single day and you're like, you inspire me so much. But anyways, so when you are in the pursuit of your greatness, because you're, for one, life is going to discourage you no matter what. So I believe that number one, it's important to set an intention so that so that there's accountability. Without an intention, you're like, with all the distractions that we have in our lives, you're going to be like a leaf on a fall day,
a windy fall day, blowing wherever the life blows.
Exactly. So you got to be intentional. However, there is a difference between being intentional and having an expectation. So how can you be intentional in the sense that you're executing from that frame of mind, but you're also unattached?
Explain unattached.
Unattached means, okay.
Unattached doesn't mean that it doesn't matter.
It doesn't mean that it doesn't matter. What it means is that whether or not it happens in this time frame, you're still going to execute with the same level of intentionality and an intensity that you would in the first place. So
like the result is not going to affect whether or not you keep going.
Yeah. So let's take like the peak physique, for example.
Let's take the 6-week peak physique. Like what goal would you have in 6 weeks? Oh, I'm going to lose 12 pounds.
So let's say, oh my gosh, I was having literally this conversation yesterday. Can I share it with you? So, it's someone who's currently going through the 6-week peak physique. She's doing great. She's got a long way to go. She's totally committed. Which that's what I always tell people. I'm like, I don't care where you're starting. What I care about is how bad you want it, because I cannot teach you to want it.
No, that you want it. Yeah.
But skills I can teach you, right? And that's what this program does. It teaches you how to become a competent and consistent human being. And so it was our halfway checkpoint, right? She's walking into week number 3, and I'm like, so what would you say is the biggest lesson you've learned so far? And she said, well, I've learned that I'm definitely not as disciplined as I thought I was. I was like, no brainer, right? I mean, that's why we create this program, to really give you like a tangible like standpoint, especially at the beginning of
And most people don't understand that they're not as disciplined as they think they are too, because they don't have a structure or a system that they're working off of. So they're just guessing.
Yeah. Yeah.
And when you guess, it's like
And
you're uncertain still.
And also someone who's a go-getter, like if you go from the frame of mind of I'm doing better than most, it's still a failing formula,
because most are not doing
most are not doing shit. Few are mediocre, and the rare few are like, you know, leading with excellence, right? That's why who you surround yourself with matters. But anyways, all that to say, she is walking through the first 3 weeks of the 6-week peak physique, and her rate of consistency right now is 67%, which in our standards, it's like you're not even gonna move from phase.
You're not quite at the point where you would graduate the phase.
Yeah, exactly. So like she has not yet gained competency. So I mean, with no context, I mean, 67%, I'm like, okay, that's already a massive improvement from where you were before. And anyways, so with 67% consistency, she's already down 4.5 pounds. That's in awesome. 3 weeks. In 3 weeks.
67% consistency. So when we say consistency too, like there are daily targets we give in the structure that we have in the program. And so for those targets, she has completed 67% of where she's at up until this point. So 67 out of what would be 100% follow through, checking all the targets every day. She's done 67%.
So with a third margin of error, which is so imperfect, she's already down 4.5 pounds. And it's awesome.
If she's watching this,
and
right on track.
And she was telling me that she's discouraged. I was like, oh, that's interesting. Tell me more. So normally if someone is discouraged, it's because they set an expectation.
It's whatever perspective they're currently seeing in this moment.
Yeah, from the past. So I asked her, I'm like, do you mind if I ask what was your expectation? And she's like, well, she's from Australia, so she was speaking kilos to me. She said, she was saying to drop 20 kilos in 6 weeks. Oh. And I said, honey,
if you don't know kilos, that's like 45 to 50 pounds.
That's 45 pounds in 6 weeks. So I did not say anything, right? Because as a coach, what I do is I ask questions. I asked her, okay, so it sounds like this is like probably what you have pursued in the past, correct? And then she said, yeah. And I asked her, do you mind if I ask how long were you able to maintain, were you ever able to maintain these results? She said, never. I said, that's exactly why. Because when you do not lead with sustainability, when you do not build a skill set and a character to back up the skill set, it is always going to wash away. Manipulating weight for what weight is, it's like we can do it really fast. But the question is, in life, do you want to go fast or do you want to go well? Or do you want to do something and do it well?
I have a really good imagery for this analogy. Which is fitting for the time we're recording this, which is around the holidays. We just had Thanksgiving. It's like going really fast to achieve a certain result, but unsustainably is like cooking a turkey on 500 for an hour, hoping that it cooks all the way through, but it just burns the shit out of the outside and doesn't cook the inside, versus cooking it on 300 for 4.5 hours and letting it really like get all the way through. People don't work on the foundational, fundamental habits that are foundational for Anybody you see online who is older and in really great shape, they did not go fast. That's
No.
why they can still do it.
Mm-mm.
And it's like, if we're looking at how fast can we go, good luck maintaining it. You might get there faster, which is cool, but it's like, what? You're just sprinting so you can sprint off of the edge of a cliff?
Yeah. Anyhow, and I'm not saying that there isn't value to speed. It's just if speed is the only focus, then that's a recipe for disaster.
If the speed is costing you sustainability, it's
Yeah.
not worth it.
Yeah.
Go
So
as fast as you can sustain.
yeah, exactly. So we got to think from the mind frame of sustainability.
And I will say on that too, people think they can sustain a lot more than they really can.
Yep.
Oh yeah, like you're so motivated. Like on Monday, you're like, I'm gonna eat perfect, and then by Friday, you're just fucking eating chocolate underneath the bed. Like, like don't don't overestimate the amount of shit you can put on your plate and sustain for a long period of time. You may as well start slow because you can always add more. But the second you want to start taking stuff away, it's like people just shit the bed and take everything away. It's all or nothing.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So with that, I was like, okay, well, now you have context. Let's set an intention for the next 3.5 weeks that is based on where you are now, focusing on what are focusing on what are your controllables, right? And how are we going to um, basically be in integrity with that? And then secondly, now that you actually have a context with regards to what you are able to achieve, let's set, like what what result would you be stoked for based on that? So we said that, but anyways, the reason why I share this story is because expectations create disappointments. So being intentional is what matters. Being unattached is whether or not, let's say, for the next 3.5 weeks, she drops, let's say, 8 pounds versus 6 pounds. She's not going to beat herself up because what matters is that she is still leading with the intention. And as long as her trajectory is moving in the same direction, then that's what matters. And if our trajectory starts to shift a little bit and we're starting to get maybe a little bit concerned, then what we focus on is what's within our control. Because otherwise we become victim to the situations. Oh, it's because it's the holidays, it's because it's winter. No, it doesn't really matter. What are you focusing on? Are you focusing on your intention and your controllables? Or are you focusing on the external circumstances? Because we're all gonna face adversity no matter what. So this is not a game of who had it worse than others. It's a game of how are you respond through different circumstances in life. You know what I mean? Anyways, so
Yeah, two things. Going back to like overestimating how many things we can take on at once if we don't gradually work up to it, right? If you gradually work up to it, which is the whole system we've created, it's like start foundational. It might feel too easy or too slow or too like not enough at the beginning.
depending on
Hold on.
who you are and where you're at.
Hold on. That's why I said it might feel like.
Mm-hmm.
It might feel too easy. We've heard this often, no? Oh, are you sure that's going to give you
Sometimes.
results? Are you sure that's enough? Yeah, we've heard that before. Like it feels too basic because we're used to doing these like extreme diets or cleanses or fasts or something crazy that gets crazy results, but is so unsustainable that we just like immediately fall backwards. So a lot of times people will start and they'll be like, are you sure? Like that seems too simple. Not all the time, but um when I say like we overestimate what we're capable of, it's not that you're not capable of that. It's that you haven't built your capacity to handle that yet. And so you can't start there. So I like to say, as a general rule, if you cannot see yourself doing all of the things, so example, you'll say, okay, I'm not going to have any carbs. I'm not going to drink anymore. No sugar. I'm going to work out 5 days a week for an hour. I'm going to go to bed at this. Like you add all these things that are complex all at one time. You haven't built the capacity for that. And there's no flexibility in it. Like the targets we give, we start with 5, but we don't tell you exactly how it has to happen. So there's flexibility in it. Now, um, what happens is you might be able to handle all of those things. You might have the capacity for all of those things on a perfect day.
Do you have
But
the
how many
stamina?
times do we have a day that goes exactly as we plan it to go? If you have kids, almost never. If you're an entrepreneur or a business owner, almost never. If you're in some kind of leadership position or first responder or like healthcare and you're in, a certain department that's unpredictable, the day almost never goes as you think it will or plan it will. And so it's like, how much can I put on my plate where on a bad day, I can follow through with that? That's where you start. And the other thing that I wanted to do was offer another view of expectations, because I don't necessarily think it's bad to have an expectation. I think that it doesn't serve you to attach yourself to the
That's good.
result of the expectation. Like you're saying, unattached. Be unattached to the result, not as though it doesn't matter and not as though you can't set an expectation for something. Because like if we have somebody come onto our team to help us, or if you go to a new job, tell me they don't have expectations for how you're going to perform or how you do a certain task. Expectations are important. They matter, they serve a purpose, but it's the result that if we're allowing a result to affect our next action emotionally, that's where we get into trouble.
Yeah.
Now, you can look at a result and allow it to affect your action if it's on a data standpoint. If it's based on data, you're like, okay, we did this thing, because really an expectation is a prediction. This is my prediction of what's going to happen.
I'll tell you where it gets dangerous. Attaching our identity to an outcome.
Totally.
That's it. This is
Like
what makes you it's like if I'm successful, then now your ego is blown up and
like I'm good enough or I'm worthy or I'm not good enough or I'm unworthy or I'm shitty or I'm whatever.
yeah.
It's like,
Or if I'm not getting the result that I want, then I'm not meant to do this. I'm not good enough. That makes you, and this is something that I personally really had to humble myself through, because it makes you a success victim. You are a victim to the level of success, for better or for worse, with where you're at. So, you're walking like a, how do you call this bird that has the beautiful
peacock.
Yeah, you're walking like a peacock when you're winning. You're like, ooh, my shit don't stink. And then you're like, you're
And then when you mess up, you're a road runner running off a cliff.
yeah, just like beating yourself up, like this is not for me. You're then looking for evidence everywhere in your life
I'm not
as
good
to
enough.
why you're not
Can't,
good
I'm
enough,
not
why
capable.
this is not for you. You're a success victim, dude. You know what I mean? Like coming from someone who has gone through many failures in multiple ways in my life, to focus on intention and be at peace with where I'm at. And I believe that that's also leads to what you wanted to share today, which is join the journey. Like, what are we focusing on?
Yeah. So it's, to just reiterate, is not about not having any expectations. And you can also think of an expectation as a prediction, right? Okay, if I go through this 6 weeks, I predict I can lose 8 pounds in that 6 weeks. Expectation, prediction, right? But we're not always right. It's a hypothesis. And your hypothesis is not always proved correct. And then when Sarit says identifying with the result is how you are defining yourself based on the outcome and whether or not it met your hypothesis, your expectation, your prediction. So, or the ways that you describe yourself can also be interpreted as identity. How do I describe myself? Consistent, disciplined, persistent, resilient, smart, outgoing. Like, how do I define myself? And when you get a certain result, don't define yourself based on the result. That's what Sarit's saying. Don't identify with the outcome. Just keep taking action, or either ask, okay, well, what different action needs to be taken?
Here's why most people resist accountability. Because accountability exposes you to failure.
Mhm.
Success does not
It
come
exposes
without
you
failure.
to other people of your failure.
Well,
Like, it allows other people
both.
to see when you fall short, when
Well,
you don't follow
maybe. It
through,
could-
when you don't stick to your word.
I mean, accountability can be on a personal level, right? So it doesn't have to be like
True.
with people all the time. You're just thinking in the context of maybe peak physique or something like that. But
But accountability is a consequence. There's
well, yeah, accountability gives a feedback loop. So all of that to say, the reason why people resist accountability in the first place is because accountability,
makes you vulnerable.
yeah, and depending on your identity up until now, it actually exposes your identity conversation. Right? So for example, choosing the path of I'm feeling discouraged, I want to quit, it exposes you to the most dominant internal conversation, which is feeling like you're not good enough when something doesn't go your way. That's actually your internal conversation. Without accountability, you'll never get there. That's why most people don't even start.
Yeah, accountability is outside of everyone's comfort zone.
Yeah.
Because accountability exposes you, like you said, it makes you vulnerable to what? Judgment, criticism, failure, embarrassment.
Or
Like,
just to our internal dialogue. Like
anyway, though, I'm talking
right.
about even you're judging yourself. You're
Right.
embarrassed with yourself. You're like all of these things. It doesn't have to be somebody else. Like, tell me you don't criticize yourself already. You don't need other people. You do it enough.
Yeah.
Like, so I'm saying these things as if it doesn't have to just come from somebody else. But the reason why people don't like, and I think this is a very subconscious thing too. I think most people are not even aware that
Mm-mm.
they avoid accountability.
Yeah.
But accountability is I would say if there's one thing that keeps people going in the direction of their intention and their goals is accountability.
Yeah.
And not even just and I would go to say accountability with somebody else who will be honest and truthful about your shortcomings, we'll call them. When you don't follow through, when you don't keep your word, you don't do what you said you were going to do, and they're not afraid to expose it
Mm-hmm.
and be like, hey, dude, like I made a post yesterday on Facebook that was pretty rough. And I was like, somebody's going to read this and their feelings might be hurt. But it's probably because it's for them and they're just, it hurts the ego to hear it.
It triggered it.
And so I would even then say at that point, like a really good sign for you to lean into accountability is when you do feel like your ego is hurt. Because if somebody says something that's honest without the intention of being rude, okay, there's people who are just dicks, and then there's people who will be just really truthful, even when that doesn't feel good. But you can tell the difference. You can tell when they're saying it because they care and it's coming from their heart, or you can tell when they're just wanting to be mean. Now, if somebody is like having a conversation with you about like, what's up, dude? Like you didn't follow through. What's up, dude? Like why are you 20 pounds heavier right now? Like, that's not a comfortable thing to say to somebody, but it's like, it hurts. It hurts, but it's not the person that's saying it to you that you're actually hurt by or that you're mad at. You're hurt by how you have let yourself down, and they're just exposing it.
Yeah.
And so it's a beautiful way to be accountable, because when you don't want to feel that anymore. And
Mhm.
it's easier to feel it when you just keep it to yourself.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not easier, but it's not as vulnerable when you keep it to yourself. That's why we always tell people, when you screw up with something,
Mhm.
when you screw up, whatever, it's all meant to be. You can learn something from it. But I'm just going to say screw up because that's how we understand it. Tell us. Tell us. We're not here to judge you, shame you, whatever, like, whatever fears you have about that and that vulnerability is the same thing that's holding you back from getting to where you want to be.
And this is why, like, um, when I see posts in our school group of, someone going out of their way and, doing a daily accountability of, hey, like, I messed up today.
Mhm.
I
That person's
I
gonna go further.
I put so much encouragement to them because here's what's working. What's working is their attitude, you know, and an enthusiastic attitude in spite of discouragement is going to make you unstoppable. Now,
100.
it's okay to have human moments. Quitting or letting whatever is the dominant internal conversation about our identity that does not serve us to dominate during these moments, that is what holds most people back. Like, even the ones who have insane potential. Like, I mean, Mel Sec, it happened with you. Like, you had a human moment.
Nobody's immune. Nobody is
Yeah,
immune to this.
it happened to me too. It happened to Erin too. But this is why it's also really important to be in an environment that helps you to increase your standards, so that during these moments when you actually, like, the real reason why you're here, it's to help you to go over the edge when you feel like you're at a stopping point, like you break through that
Yeah,
wall.
you're not here to be coddled,
Right.
rockabye babied, sugar coated, um, just tell me what I wanna hear. That's not nobody really wants that. It feels more comfortable in a moment, but it doesn't really help, and
Yeah.
everybody knows that. They're
Yeah.
like, "Oh, does this make me look fat?" "No, you look great," but they're already looking at themselves in the mirror and thinking they look fat, so who really cares what you say?
Yeah.
You know? So onto the topic of finding joy in the journey, um, this is something that's really been on my heart. I have some goals, and I often catch myself reminding myself to be grateful and present exactly where I am right now.
I love that
Because
for you.
so often we're thinking about the future, where I wanna be, where I'm not yet, what's not like, what I don't like about my situation, what I haven't accomplished, and, like, all of these from a negative perspective, where we could be, "Wow, I'm so grateful that," um, you know, regardless of how comfortable or uncomfortable your current situation is, there's, for one, always something to be grateful for. And two, if you're always looking in the future thinking I should be somewhere else that I'm not, you can never be present. You can never actually be productive where you are in this moment if your mind is not right here in this moment. So, anxiety, this is like my own viewpoint. Anxiety is created by either being stuck in what has been in the past, or worrying about something that could potentially happen in the future, which you don't know. Um, And then depression as being also stuck in a negative perspective cycle about all of the where I'm nots in your life right now.
Yeah.
And so to break free from that, it's like, what can I be grateful for right now? Life is only happening in this very moment right now. It's not happening 5 minutes from now. It's only now. Every moment, every second is only now. So the more I can learn to be present right now, the for one, more peace I have because I recognize, wow, look, like I have a cup of coffee, I have clothes on my body, I have a roof over my head, I have amazing people to talk with. There's so many things to be grateful for. I have food in the fridge, I have running water, like so many things in this present moment that we can be grateful for versus, oh, I gotta get to this destination. And then we just spend our time. There's a really good song, I forget what it's called, but we just spend our time rushing for what? To die?
Is it 85 by
No, it's the country song.
Oh, I love that song.
It's the country song where he's talking about like, I'm just always in a rush to get somewhere so that I can be in a rush to get somewhere else and then just rush my way to death.
Yeah.
So really, really taking like, if you're considering a workout and you're like, oh my God, it's gonna be hard, I don't want to do it. Da, da, da. Well, you're not in the workout yet. So stop putting your mind there. Just put your fucking shoes on your feet. Just get in the car, like be in the moment that you're in and work your way to where you want to go without being so concerned about what's the next thing. Where do I have to get to? Because once you get there, you're just going to feel like you need to get somewhere else. So who cares? You might as well like have peace of mind in that process.
Yeah. So true. So true. Which made me think, which leads us to the next topic, the difference between rushing and urgency. And we can talk about that next week.
Yeah.
Because there's definitely a difference when we live our life with urgency versus when we're rushing our way through life.
Rushing is messy. Urgency is intentional.
Gosh, I feel like there's something that I wanted to add to what you shared, but really all that to say is I remember, so when I came to this country to go to school here. I did my undergrad and my grad here, and I was in New Jersey, which is the tri-state area. I would say that the tri-state area is one of the most busy energy environments in the world. I've been to probably half the states in the United States, and I've lived in multiple states and multiple countries, and like seeing the New York City hustle just completely exposes you to how numb people are on a very extreme level. Like you got to go there to see it. I'll never forget this. There was one day where I was leaving work, I was leaving the gym at Equinox, and I was literally recording because I was just so mind blown how numb people are because they're just like rushing
the
their
grind,
way through
rushing
life.
in the hustle.
Yeah, and by the way, like I'm a hustler.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong. You know what I mean? There's a different intention between like working from a sense of love and intentionality and just hustling our way through life.
I think of hustle as like hard worker. I'm a hustler. I'm a hard worker. I hustle. I have urgency. I'm not la 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 la, but at the same time, it's rushing is like I'm late. I'm late for a very important date, and you're like fumbling stuff, and you're spilling coffee, and you're frantic, and it's chaos. Versus urgency is like I'm in a rhythm.
Yeah, totally. So I recorded a video because literally when I used to live in New Jersey, commute to New York and work in New York, there were multiple nights where I literally had to sleep at the gym because the train schedule just didn't match my schedule and I had to make shit work, right? So all that to say, there were a lot of times where I would literally bring a duffel bag to work because I will bring my meals for multiple times per day, changes of clothes, stuff like that. And literally, someone walked right into me through like the duffel bag. And I was like, I was just looking back and I was looking at that person and they were literally rushing, looking at their phone the whole time. I'm like, and I felt compassion for that person. And I was like, I want to get a bigger worldview of what's happening right now. And I saw that everyone else was crossing the street in that manner. I'm not just talking like even walking on the street with like head down, completely numb. I'm like, you're crossing the street. And if you know anything about New York taxi like drivers, like they're absolute maniacs. Okay. So you definitely want to be on the lookout. Actually, one time I saw a taxi cab driver literally hit a woman. Like, and she was screaming at him. He was screaming at her. And I'm like, you'll only find that in New York. Anyways, so I came to this country and I was in this, like atmosphere for
That's
like
the other thing is rushing puts you in a really bad mood.
yeah, I was in that atmosphere for 8 years, and we moved to California. The reason why I chose to move to California is because I believe there is more to life than just rushing and numbing our way out. And the tri-state area definitely has that culture of just like rushing our way through life. And I'm like, it's so sad. So, we created the term called smell the roses. It's like, what's the point of living life if let's say we have this beauty in front of us and we're not able to appreciate it?
Yeah, we're just numb through it all.
So as we head into this weekend, my intention for you is, regardless of what's going on, regardless of how you're feeling right now, just focus on your controllables and ask yourself, how can I appreciate this moment for what it is right now versus focusing on an expectation, the expectation of, oh my gosh, I got to get to the subway in 2 minutes, blah, 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 because if not, I'll be
I'll miss
5
the
minutes
train.
behind for the next subway. And like, oh my gosh, okay, like you're 5 minutes late. Who cares? As long as you get home, you get home. And I get it, like, especially if like you got a spouse, you got family, all of that. But I feel like there's so many times in life where we like make a big deal out of something that really doesn't matter.
A lot of times.
You know what I mean? So what if, instead of the perspective of just having the biggest focus being on how fast we can get there, to how can we enjoy the ride along the way?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And it's by being present in
Yeah.
this moment right now.
Yeah.
So if you're watching this on YouTube and it is before December 10th, 2025, we want to invite you to 2026 Body Shred Accelerator that we're doing, which will actually help you to understand, first of all, set the goal that you have, because if you don't know where you're going,
Help you to get clear.
yeah, good luck getting there. Second of all, like show you the system that we utilize, and help you just get really clear on what exactly it's going to take for you to reach those goals. So that you feel really confident going into the new year, but not only going into the new year, because everybody starts at the beginning of the year. And like, if you want to get the results that most people have, do what most people do. And if you don't want the results that most people have, which in America is like most people are overweight, sick, unhealthy, taking medication, not happy in their lives. If you want that result, then do what everybody else does, which is start in January.
For January. Yeah.
If you want a different result, or if you've started in January every year and you want a different outcome, stop waiting for a certain day to start something and start today. That's why we're doing it on December 10th. So you can actually have a plan to begin implementing immediately.
So you can walk into the new year with momentum.
And that doesn't, but it's the holidays, worst time of year, so busy, so many things going on, and food and temptations and this. Good. Figure out how to do it while life is happening, because guess what? It's always going to be happening. So you need to figure out how to do it in the midst of that versus just think that, oh, you can only be taking care of yourself when you don't have a lot going on, which is when. So, you might as well start now, have some support while you do it so that you can get through it, feel confident in what you're doing, build some momentum coming into the new year. You can check in the description below this video and grab the link to register for that. If you guys are here with us live right now, I'm going to drop the link. And also for anybody, if you want to share it with loved ones, it's a free event. So you may as well just, the more the merrier. The more we can all create clarity, structure, and have an environment of people around us that understand what we're going after and get it. We don't have to explain ourselves to them. The further we can go, the better we can feel in that journey. So register for the event. Invite your friends to the event. It's always also fun when you're doing it with other people, especially there if you already know them. So, anything you want to add?
No. Have an amazing weekend.
Have an amazing weekend.
Happy Flex Friday.
See you guys next time.
Bye, guys.